So I'm just going to show you the slideshow that I made for my virtual field trip to the rainforest. I'm going to be switching between this and the actual presentation because if I leave it in the presentation, for some reason it just keeps going throughout all the slides without stopping and letting me click on anything else. So I'll switch back to this after each slide so I can show you some of the other features that I have on each slide. So here's my first slide. So if you click on this airplane while you're in the presentation mode, it'll bring you to a YouTube video that's about 9 minutes long, and it's just a good introduction for Rainforest for students to watch. So I have that, and I'm not going to click on it just because I only have so much time with this recording. So I'll go on to the next slide and play that. So for this slide, I have recordings for each of the major rainforests, just explaining more details about them. I can play a couple of them for you. So if you click play. So there's one, and I'll play one more as an example. So all six of the major rainforests have this kind of a link with me explaining more details about them. And then, as I already said, this frog, if students click on it, it'll lead them to a website that has slideshows and more information about these major rainforests and like people who live there, and just even more details that they can explore by clicking on here onto the frog. So going on to the next slide. And then so you can click on each of these to hear more about the different layers. And then the toucan here, students can click on, and it leads them to a game where they have to match different animals to the different layers depending on where they live. So from each recording, they can learn about the animals that live in each of the layers, and then they can go and they can play this game where they can kind of test on what they learned from all these recordings. And the next slide. So this is where students can learn more about just a few of the animals that live in the Amazon rainforest. I can play a couple of the recordings for you. And then I can just play one more as an example. So each of these recordings just have me talking about more of the information about these animals, so students can go through and click on each individual animal and learn more details about them. And then on my next slide, I have a poll. So the point of that was just for a fun way for students to give me feedback right away, and the students can see it as well right away. So I had that set up to where the answer that was given the most would show up as the largest word on the page, so students can see right away which animal out of those is like the favorite of the class, or which one most students like. So that's just a fun way for students to get involved in this activity as well. And then my last slide I'll play for you. So for this, I explained how the water cycle takes place in the rainforest, which is important because the standard that I am aiming for in this presentation is about the water cycle with fourth graders. And the ending activity that I included, it's just a way for students to show all the information they gained from this field trip, because it includes them talking about the water cycle, the different layers, and the different animals in the rainforest. So it kind of combines all of that information that they learned throughout this virtual field trip, and it's a way for me to see what they got out of this field trip and what they learned. So that is the end of my slideshow. This next slide is just some of the sources that I used. Um, but I just wanted students to be able to go through this and be able to click on different activities to do, such as with the game or with getting even more information, or even just clicking on the pictures to get more information about the rainforest and the different elements that take part in it.